I thought I had everything figured out. 3 years with Marissa, the woman I was planning to propose to that fall. We had this perfect routine, Sunday night dinners we cooked together talking about our future. We were solid, or so I believed. Then her sister Diane called one Tuesday night in March crying about her divorce, and I made the mistake of thinking 2 weeks of helping out would be no big deal. I had no idea that phone call would unravel everything I thought I knew about the woman I loved. Before I continue, let me know in the comments where you are watching from. If you have ever faced an ultimatum in a relationship, hit that like button so I know I am not alone in this. And do not forget to subscribe because what happened next will blow your mind. Trust me, you will want to see how this plays out. Marissa and I met 3 years ago at a coffee shop in Portland. She was reading a book on sustainable marketing. I was working on code for a new app. We started talking, and by the end of that afternoon, I knew she was different. We bonded over our love for hiking documentaries about nature and trying new recipes on weekends. She worked in marketing for a tech startup, sharp and driven. I was a software engineer at a mid-sized firm, stable income, good benefits. We complemented each other. For 3 years, things were smooth. Sure, we had the occasional disagreement about where to eat or whose family to visit for holidays, but nothing serious. I had been saving for 6 months to buy an engagement ring. I had it all planned out. A proposal in October, maybe during a weekend trip to Crater Lake. I was confident about our future. Then, Diane entered the picture in a big way. Diane was Marissa's older sister, 35 years old, recently divorced from a guy named Greg, who apparently could not hold down a job or be a decent father. Diane had 3 kids. Tyler was 9, a kid who spent more time on video games than homework. Madison was 7, creative but completely lacking any sense of boundaries. Cody was 5, loud and demanding. I'd met them a few times at family gatherings. They were energetic, sure, but I figured that was just kids being kids. That Tuesday night, Diane called Marissa sobbing. The divorce was finalized. She was overwhelmed. She needed time to find herself. She had enrolled in some yoga retreat in Arizona for 2 weeks and needed someone to watch the kids. Without hesitating, Marissa said, "Do not worry, sis, I will take care of them. You go and take your time." I was standing in the kitchen when this conversation happened. Marissa hung up and looked at me with hopeful eyes. "Babe, it is just 2 weeks. She really needs this." I wanted to be supportive, I really did. So I said, "Okay, we can manage 2 weeks." That was my first mistake. The kids arrived on a Thursday afternoon. 3 suitcases, 2 backpacks, and an energy level that could power a small city. Our apartment was a 2-bedroom place in a quiet neighborhood. We cleared out the 2nd bedroom, which I used as a home office, and set up beds for the kids. Night 1 was a disaster. Tyler refused to go to bed before midnight. He was playing video games in the living room with the volume turned all the way up. I asked him twice to lower it. He ignored me. When I finally walked over and turned the console off, he yelled, "You cannot tell me what to do. My mom lets me play as long as I want." Meanwhile, Madison had found a set of permanent markers and was drawing flowers on our white living room wall. By the time Marissa noticed, there were 12 large doodles scattered across the surface. Marissa just sighed and said, "We can paint over it later." Cody, the youngest, started screaming at 11 p.m. because he wanted pizza. Not just any pizza, but pepperoni with extra cheese from a specific place that was already closed. He threw a full tantrum, crying and kicking the couch. Marissa tried to calm him down with a sandwich. He threw it on the floor. I finally got to sleep around 3 in the morning. My alarm went off at 6:30 for work. I dragged myself out of bed exhausted, knowing I had a full day of meetings ahead. Day 2. I tried to talk to Marissa before I left for work. "Babe, we need to set some ground rules. The kids cannot stay up that late and they need to respect our stuff." She nodded, but I could tell she was not really listening. "They are just adjusting. Give them time." That afternoon, I came home to find Tyler hovering near my work laptop, which I had left on the dining table. He was holding a glass of milk. Before I could say anything, he tripped over his own feet and the entire glass went straight onto the keyboard. The laptop died instantly. I stood there frozen, watching milk drip onto the floor. That laptop had all my work files, my projects, everything. I had backups, thank God, but the hardware was fried. I called Diane immediately. "Your son just destroyed my work laptop. I need you to know this is serious." Her response, "Kids have accidents, Vincent. Do not make it a bigger deal than it is." I hung up furious. The laptop cost $700 to replace. Marissa offered to split it with me, but I knew Diane was not going to pay a cent. Day 3. Madison and Cody got into a screaming fight in the kitchen. They were wrestling, and in the chaos they knocked over the china cabinet. The dishes inside a set my mom had given us shattered on the tile floor. Priceless family heirlooms gone. Marissa was at work when it happened. I cleaned up the mess, my hands shaking with frustration. When she got home, I showed her the damage. She just hugged me and said, "I am so sorry. I will talk to them." But she never did. Day 4. I noticed charges on my credit card I did not recognize. $150 in mobile game purchases. I checked my wallet. My card was still there. Then I saw Tyler smirking in the corner, his tablet glowing. He had memorized my card number and used it to buy in-app currency. I confronted him. "Did you use my credit card?" "Maybe. So what it is, just a game." I wanted to scream. Instead, I called my bank, disputed the charges, and locked my card. By the end of week 1, I was running on fumes. I had barely slept, my work was suffering, and I felt like a stranger in my own home. I sat Marissa down on Sunday night. "Babe, I do not think I can do this for another week. These kids are out of control and you are not backing me up." She looked hurt. "They are family, Vincent. They are going through a hard time. You just need to be more patient." "Patient? I have been nothing but patient. But they are destroying our home, and Diane is not even trying to parent them from Arizona." Marissa crossed her arms. "You are being too harsh. They are just kids." That was when I realized something. Marissa was never going to set boundaries with her sister, and I was going to be the bad guy no matter what I did. The next morning, Diane called. I knew it was not good news the second Marissa answered, and her face went pale. "What do you mean 2 more weeks?" Marissa said into the phone. I stopped pouring my coffee and turned around. Diane's voice was loud enough that I could hear it from across the room. "The retreat has been so healing for me. I signed up for an extended program. I will be back in a month total." A month. 4 weeks. I felt my chest tighten. Marissa looked at me nervously. "Diane, I do not know if we can do that." "Please, Marissa, I really need this. You're the only person I trust with my kids." I grabbed the phone from Marissa. "Diane, this is Vincent. We agreed to 2 weeks. We cannot do a month. Why not? You have space. You are not doing anything important. Just help me out." I could not believe what I was hearing. "We are doing plenty. Your kids have caused thousands of dollars in damage already." "That's an exaggeration. Kids break things. Get over it." I hung up. Marissa stared at me. "You should not have done that. Someone needs to stand up to her. She's taking advantage of us. She is my sister. And I am your boyfriend. Does not that count for something?" We did not speak for the rest of the night. Week 2 was worse. Tyler decided the master bedroom was more comfortable than the second room and started sleeping in our bed while I was at work. I came home one day to find him sprawled out gaming while I had been looking forward to a nap after a brutal day. When I asked him to move, he said, "Finders keepers. Marissa told me to just sleep on the couch. It is temporary." Madison, in a stroke of creative genius, found a can of spray paint in the building's maintenance closet and tagged the hallway wall outside our apartment with her name in bright pink letters. The building manager knocked on our door the next day with a fine, $500. I had to repaint the wall myself that Saturday. 8 hours of work. Marissa did not help. She said she needed to take the kids to the park so they would not bother me. Then there was the sound system incident. I had saved for a year to buy a high-end speaker setup, $1,200 total. Madison decided to see what would happen if she poured soda into the subwoofer. The entire system fried. When I asked her why she did it, she shrugged. I was curious. Diane, when I called her, said, "Accidents happen. You are making too big a deal out of this." One night I came home from work to find Tyler watching an adult comedy special on my Netflix account. Not just inappropriate, but graphic. I turned it off immediately and asked him where he found it. "Your account does not have parental controls. Not my fault." I called Diane again. "Your son is watching content he should not be seeing." "You need to talk to him," she sighed. "Vincent, you are being dramatic. He is 9. He knows what is fake." That is not the point. She hung up on me. I turned to Marissa. Your sister just hung up on me. Are you going to say anything to her? You are stressing everyone out. Maybe if you were calmer, things would be easier. I could not believe what I was hearing. I was the problem. Week 3 started with another call from Diane. This time, Marissa put her on speaker. So I have some news, Diane began. I met someone here. His name is Brad. We have been spending a lot of time together. I think I might stay another month. Another month. I felt my blood pressure spike. Diane, no, I said firmly. We cannot do this anymore. Why are you being so selfish, Vincent? I am trying to rebuild my life. My kids are fine with you. They are not fine. They have destroyed our apartment, disrespected us at every turn, and you have not even tried to parent them from a distance. Marissa, are you going to let him talk to me like this? Marissa looked at me, then at the phone. Vincent, maybe we can figure something out. I stood up. No, we cannot. Diane needs to come back and get her kids. This is not our responsibility. Diane's voice went cold. Marissa, if he cannot step up and help family, maybe you need to rethink this relationship. That night, Marissa and I had the worst fight of our entire relationship. You are making me choose between you and my sister, she said, tears streaming down her face. I am not. I'm asking you to set a boundary, to stand up for us, for me. They are family. So am I, or I'm supposed to be. The argument went in circles for hours. Finally exhausted, we went to bed in silence. The next evening, disaster struck. Marissa and I had planned a rare date night. We left the kids with explicit instructions to behave. We went to a nice restaurant, tried to reconnect. For 2 hours, I almost forgot about the chaos at home. When we got back, the apartment looked like a tornado had hit it. Food was smeared on the walls, the TV screen was cracked, furniture was overturned, and there were 5 other kids I did not recognize running around. Tyler had thrown a party. I stood in the doorway speechless. The damage was catastrophic. Easily $2,500, maybe more. I called Diane immediately. You need to get on a plane and come back right now. I cannot afford a last-minute ticket. Just deal with it. Deal with it. Your kids just destroyed our home. You are overreacting. I am done, Diane. You are a terrible mother and you are using us. She gasped. How dare you? Marissa, are you hearing this? Marissa took the phone. They spoke in hushed tones while I surveyed the damage. When Marissa came back, her face was hard. Vincent, we need to talk. We sat down on the one piece of furniture that was not destroyed. She took a deep breath. You need to decide right now. Either you step up and treat these kids like they are ours, help my sister the way family should, or you need to leave. I cannot be with someone who does not support my family. I looked at her, this woman I had loved for 3 years, and I saw a stranger. You are giving me an ultimatum. I am asking you to choose. I thought about everything, the sleepless nights, the financial losses, the disrespect, the way Diane manipulated her own sister, the way Marissa refused to see any of it. And I realized something. This was not about helping family. This was about being a doormat. I stood up. Okay, I choose. Her eyes lit up with hope. Really? I choose to leave. The hope in her eyes died instantly. You're joking. I am not. I am done, Marissa. Oh? You're going to leave me over this? You are the one who gave me an ultimatum. You chose your sister and her out-of-control kids over me, over us. She started crying. I did not mean it like that. Yes, you did. I went to the bedroom and started packing. Clothes, toiletries, my laptop charger. Marissa followed me, begging me to reconsider. But I was calm. Calmer than I had been in weeks, because for the first time I was choosing myself. I called my best friend, Marcus. Can I crash at your place tonight? Always, man. What happened? I will explain when I get there. I loaded my car and left. Marissa stood in the doorway crying, but I did not look back. The next morning I contacted a lawyer. Our apartment lease was in both our names, but I had been paying 80% of the rent for 2 years. The lawyer advised me that I had grounds to either remove myself from the lease or require Marissa to cover the full rent if she wanted to stay. I sent a formal email to both Marissa and Diane. I listed every single item that had been damaged. The laptop, $700. The china set, priceless, but I estimated $500. The sound system, $1,200. The TV, $800. The hallway fine, $500. Miscellaneous damages to walls and furniture, another $800. Total $5,300. I gave them 30 days to reimburse me. If they did not, I would file a small claims lawsuit. I also sent a formal notice to the building management requesting to be removed from the lease and clarifying that I was no longer responsible for any damage caused by the occupants. That first week away from the apartment was surreal. I stayed with Marcus in his spare room. For the first time in a month, I slept through the night. No screaming kids, no crashing sounds, just silence. I caught up on work. My boss had noticed my performance slipping and was relieved to see me back to normal. I explained the situation vaguely, and he was sympathetic. Family stuff is tough, but you have to take care of yourself first. Exactly. Week 2. Marissa started calling me. The first few calls I ignored. Then I listened to a voicemail. "Vincent, please, I cannot do this alone. I had to call in sick 3 days this week because I cannot find anyone to watch the kids during the day. My boss is furious. Please come back." I did not respond. She called again. "I'm sorry, you were right. I should have listened to you." Still, I did not respond. Then she called Diane. I know this because Marissa texted me about it. I told Diane she needs to come back. She refused. She says she is in a critical phase with Brad and cannot leave. "Vincent, what do I do?" I replied simply. "That is between you and your sister." Week 3, things escalated. Tyler got suspended from the temporary school he was attending for getting into a fight. Madison left a faucet running overnight, flooding the apartment. The water damage cost $3,000. The building threatened eviction. Marissa had to pay for it herself because Diane was not answering her phone anymore. Marissa called me sobbing. "You were right about everything. I'm so sorry. I did not see how bad it was." "It is too late, Marissa. Please, I will make it right. The only way to make it right is to send those kids back to their mother." She would not take them back. Then that tells you everything you need to know about Diane. Week 4. Marissa made a decision. She bought 3 one-way plane tickets to Phoenix, Arizona, $1,200. She called Diane. "The kids will be landing at 3 p.m. tomorrow. You need to pick them up," Diane screamed. "You cannot do this to me. Watch me." For the first time, Marissa stood up to her sister. When Diane picked up the kids at the airport, Brad was with her. But the moment he saw 3 loud, misbehaving children, he made an excuse and left. 2 days later, Diane called Marissa crying. Brad had broken up with her. He said he was not ready to date someone with that much baggage. Diane was forced to face reality. She could not run from her responsibilities. A month later, Diane called me. "Vincent, I owe you an apology. I was selfish. I used you and Marissa. I'm enrolling in parenting classes. I'm going to do better." I appreciated the apology, but I did not absolve her. I hope you follow through, for your kids' sake. The first few weeks after the breakup were hard. I mourned the relationship, the future I thought we would have, but I also felt lighter, free. I moved into a studio apartment on the east side of Portland. Small, but it was mine. No chaos, no drama, just peace. I started going to the gym regularly. I reconnected with hobbies I had abandoned, hiking, photography. I even joined a climbing group and made new friends. Marcus checked in on me constantly. "You good, man?" "Yeah, I really am." 2 months after the breakup, Marcus introduced me to his sister, Hannah. She was a kindergarten teacher, patient and kind, but also firm. She knew how to set boundaries. We started grabbing coffee, talking about life. 3 months in, we started dating. Hannah was different from Marissa in every way. She respected my time, my space, my needs, and I did the same for her. It was healthy, balanced. 5 months after leaving Marissa, I got a text from her. "Can we meet?" "I've been thinking a lot. I want to talk." I agreed to meet at the same coffee shop where we first met. She looked tired, older. "I made a huge mistake, Vincent. I should have chosen you. Can we try again?" I looked at her, this person I once loved, and felt nothing but calm. "Marissa, I have moved on. I hope you find what you are looking for, but it is not going to be with me." She cried. I did not. That was the last time I saw her. Looking back, I learned some hard truths. Love is not about sacrificing yourself until there is nothing left. It is about partnership, mutual respect, and boundaries. A real partner stands with you, not against you. They do not make you choose between them and your sanity. I learned that saying no is not selfish. It is self-respect. Walking away when you are being mistreated is not cowardly. It is brave. I do not regret choosing to leave. If I had stayed, I would have lost myself completely. Sometimes justice is not about revenge or proving someone wrong. Justice is knowing when to walk away and realizing you deserve better. I chose freedom, and it was the best decision I ever made. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever been given an ultimatum in a relationship? How did you handle it? Drop your story in the comments below. If this resonated with you, smash that like button. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. And subscribe to this channel for more real-life stories about standing up for yourself. Thank you for listening. I hope you find the courage to choose yourself when it matters most. Take care.